Turn my place all upside down one last time. Got me thinking of you, it's true, we ripping loud.
Hey guys, I'm back with another video. My name is Rayma, and today we are going to be doing a what's in my bag, except it's what's in my bag cozy edition. To me, the what's in my bag tag is very reminiscent of old YouTube, and so I'm doing it this week, except it is the cozy bag edition. So it's heavy. Here is my bag, my cozy hobby bag. You guys cannot really see the top of it. It is a pretty large bag. I just got back from a week-long trip for Easter. Before leaving, I knew I was going to be gone a week, and when I go home I like to relax, so I knew that I was just going to be chilling while I was there, but I still felt the need to pack a bag full of my cozy hobbies. So today I'm going to go through this bag with you and show you what's all in here. I'm gonna put the bag on the floor. So the first thing that's in the bag is this blanket. It's not a blanket yet, but it will be. I'm currently crocheting. I do some of my best thinking when I'm crocheting, but I also relax a lot because it's like I'm allotting a part of my brain to doing it, but it's so repetitive and easy that it's very calming. I recommend crocheting, but this is the first thing basically that I wanted to pull out of my bag and show you guys. I also have my Switch case, my Nintendo Switch. I do not play this enough. I took this home with me, and now I have Stardew Valley, which I'm going to try and play today. This is what my Switch looks like. I actually have the Animal Crossing version, the dock that the game goes in when you want to broadcast it to like a TV. It's definitely Animal Crossing themed. So that's my Switch. So these aren't really hobbies, but I'm just gonna pull it on anyway. This is my work laptop, funds the hobbies. And this is my personal laptop. Thankful for this, because if I hadn't brought this home with me, I wouldn't have been able to post that 24-hour reading vlog. Normally I do all of my editing work on my iMac, but I was able to transfer both of those that video onto here and edit it while I was at home. So this is my personal laptop. When I was in school, I was using this, write papers, create presentations. When you would be in a class, a lecture hall, and the people with the MacBooks, like they would be texting, but it looked like they were working. I always wanted a MacBook for that reason. But now it's like all these features that I once wanted for this particular purpose, the circumstances in which I got them don't exist anymore. Like, I'm not in school anymore. I was happy to have a use for it in terms of going home, because normally it's just here. Oh, and when I'm doing my hair, I'll use this to watch like YouTube videos or Netflix. So it does come in handy. I just don't use it as often as I used to when I was in school. So my relationship with it has changed, but I'm as I said, grateful that I was able to take it home this past weekend. I have my Beats headphones. I will not be taking these out. I've had these for years. I'm pretty sure since, if not undergrad, I want to say like my master's program. Somewhere around that time is when I got these. So it has to be like 2017, 2018 is how long I've had these. And I need to send them back in to get refurbished, because the part that goes over your ears is just like falling apart, like just tearing up. And I'm happy that I used it to that point. Like, normally I get things and I don't want to mess them up, so I don't use them. But I'm getting into, like, I paid money for this. Everything is temporary, so use it while you have it. Like, wear your clothes, use your appliances, use your technological gadgets. I have my Thicker Than Water book. This is oil. I put like oils in my hair, and I need to wash my hands after doing that in my hair before I touch books, because it leaves like these oil marks on them. But anyway, I have Thicker Than Water in there. I'm about halfway through the book, and my plan is I will be finishing this before May 1st, because I want to include this in my April wrap-up video. So there's that. I have my personalized journal. So that's my name that I got monogrammed, or whatever you would say, put on there. This is from Erin Condren. I love it because it's so sturdy, and I haven't written in even half of it yet. I don't journal every single day. So this is about how much I've journaled and how many pages I still have left. But I don't journal every day, but I'm trying to get into a habit of it. I also want to get into like different journaling layouts. I'm going to start going through my Pinterest board and actually doing this stuff instead of pinning it. This is my iPad. Just make sure I wasn't showing you guys anything personal. I got this on an impulse, I want to say in 2024. I was just like, I had an old iPad that I ended up selling on Facebook Marketplace, and I was like, I wanted to get a new one. So I did. And I want to change this casing too. That's the iPad. I don't use this much for anything. Sometimes I'll use it to watch Netflix, like when I'm doing my hair, but I prefer my laptop for that. Mostly my favorite thing to use this for is Pinterest. I love how Pinterest shows up on here. Pinterest on an iPad, amazing experience. Like, look at that. It's so much. I just love it. And I'm not out here trying to promote consumerism. Like, people who have shunned always buying things, I completely get it. I agree with it. And there are some times where I am disgusted by just overconsumption. But I cannot deny that buying things makes me feel better. But I don't want to just buy a lot of things for the sake of buying a lot of things. So I don't shop as much as I used to anymore. But when I do, I'm very happy because I know that I don't do it that often. So anyway, I'm very happy that I got this iPad. I'm happy with the decisions that younger me made. Like, when I was out here buying too many clothes, I wouldn't do that now. But now I have a closet to shop when I want to go somewhere, because younger me was just buying clothes. I probably wouldn't just willy-nilly buy an iPad now, but because younger me made that decision, I get to have an iPad. So I know better now in terms of finances and, like, you know, making sure that I'm doing what I need to with my money before just spending on other things. But that's what I mean. I think people mean when they say, like, give your younger self, like, grace. Don't hate yourself for what you did in the past. Learn from it. But also thank her or thank him, because that person is part of the reason why you are where you are now. And I have an iPad now. A nice one. And I already paid for it. I have my coloring book. I love this thing. And of course, if I have my coloring book, I have my markers. And these are also markers. I think that I thought that I was going to finish Kerry Washington's book while I was at home. So I brought these markers that don't bleed through paper, because I thought that I was going to be book journaling, because I brought my book journal, but I haven't finished Kerry Washington's book yet, so there was no need for that. But I didn't know that at the time. And also my little Lian printer where I print off, like, the pictures of the books. This is a book from my dad. It's called The Book of Mysteries. I believe it's like a devotional book, because it has like day 1 through, I'm assuming day 365. And then I have my passion planner, and I love this planner. I just hate that I don't use it the way that I should be. I'm not in school anymore, but I am a YouTuber now. So I think that for the pages that have things that are missing, like for instance, there's not much on this week, I'm going to go back on my phone and see if I have any pictures or any indication of what I was doing and fill it in. I want my planner to be like another journal for myself. I want to look at it and be able to see, like, what I was doing at that time. And I've just never been somebody. There's only been one time where I feel like I was really good with the planner for some reason, and it was 2019. I wasn't in school. I was just in Atlanta turning up that whole year. So yeah, my passion planner, I love it. I love the pastel colors. Just very cute, very me. My crochet needle, I love it because it's my favorite color, lavender. And then just my chargers. This my MacBook charger, and I think this is my Nintendo. Is this my Nintendo? Yeah, my Nintendo Switch charger. So those are all of the things that I had in my cozy hobby bag. I hope that this inspires you for when you travel or anything like that. Get a bag. Put all of the things that make you feel good inside. I think it's really good to try to create a sense of home wherever you go. is Tuesday, May 6th, and I'm outside getting some much needed fresh air, and my dog is here with me, irritated because she keeps seeing these big dogs walk by, and I guess she wants to tussle, but she's so small. We all know what happened. It's supposed to be storming all week, well, raining all week after today, so I wanted to make sure that I got outside. I don't feel like I'm at the point where there are people invested in my life to be giving you guys updates, but there are things that I think that I want to talk about, and some of them have to do with just wellness. I wanted to start filming for this week's video yesterday, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it. It was very hard to find the energy and the motivation, and I just listened to my body, and I was like, I felt sad, so I went with that. I was like, we're gonna be sad, we're gonna lay in the bed, and I journaled about it, I prayed, I talked to my boyfriend, I journaled, and he encouraged me to pray, which I did, and that did help. But I just had some realizations, and part of the realization is that we need people. I had to stop filming for a minute because it's a nice day, so that means that everybody's out here, and I just don't feel comfortable talking to the camera when there are people around. But yeah, I didn't feel like filming yesterday, so I didn't. And if I'm being completely honest and transparent, been struggling a bit with like my mental health lately. I would not go as far as to say that I'm depressed, because I've read about depression and it's not that bad, but yesterday I felt like a very deep sadness, and I was trying to figure out what's different between now and when I was a teenager, for instance, and how I moved past like feelings like that when it gets like that. And I realized that back then I was a lot more vulnerable about the things that I was dealing with in my mind and how I felt. And somewhere along the way, I wouldn't even say that the friendships that I had when I was a teenager were like the most deep or whatever. We were teenagers, and I moved a lot. And when I say I moved a lot, like I would complete elementary school, and then I would go to another school that I wasn't zoned to when I was in elementary school. So then I'm meeting an entirely different group of kids, and it was like the same for elementary school, middle school, and high school. So I kept having to meet new people, and by the time I got to high school, everybody had like their set friend groups. So the friends that I did make, I mean, we were friends, but it wasn't like we had that childhood, I've known you forever type bond. But back then it just seemed a lot easier for me to just be open about how I'm feeling, and I don't know where it became a thing for me to like keep my thoughts and my feelings to myself, but that's happened. I think more so into adulthood, somewhere I just stopped trusting people, and so I think a lot of my relationships have been superficial in that regard. Like I know a lot of people, I've done a lot of things, been a lot of places, partied and all that stuff, but who can you call, or who can you call when things aren't that great? And so I thought about that, and I was just like, I've recently been feeling this pull to just live my life less performatively, and which is real rich with me starting a YouTube channel. And that's a whole other conversation. Like I feel disillusioned, or what's the word? Cognitive dissonance when I'm making YouTube videos and feeling like I'm performing, when my whole shtick right now is that I don't want to perform, I want to just be me. So that's like a real trying to be authentic with this camera in my face. But I lost my train of thought. I was more vulnerable, just to make it simple. I was more vulnerable as a teenager than I have been recently, and I think that I've just been holding things to myself for years. I don't know where I got it from, but I'm just like, it's not safe to show that you feel some kind of way about something or whatever. And I started thinking, I was like, I have to talk to somebody, and not even like a therapist, but like somebody. Like therapists are great for like unbiased people, but sometimes you need somebody that knows you somewhat and cares about you. in the way that only somebody who's known you or knows you a little bit more than a therapist can. And so I started doing inventory last night, and I was like, who can I talk to? And I have a very short list, but I'm happy that I do have a list. My mom is on that list, but as I've grown up, I've stopped like confiding so much to her because she means well, but her viewpoint is a little bit limited, especially when it comes to me. My boyfriend, Godson, like true blessing. I can talk to him about anything. But he's my boyfriend. He's my best friend too. But you know, you still need like friends. And so with that regard, I have a really good guy friend and I have a couple of girlfriends. But I don't know. I thought of who would be the best person to talk to. And there's somebody coming, so I gotta stop this again. Long story short, I reached out to a friend and we're gonna have a conversation shortly. And it's very scary to do that. Like, it's scary to open up to somebody and tell somebody how you're really feeling in a world where I feel like we prize mental health, but then we demonize people or villainize people for having very human feelings. It's very weird. So, I guess I'm saying all this to say that take care of yourselves. I don't want to sound patronizing or like I'm doing this so I want to give you advice because I've been there before, and I know I'm not trying to do that. I really do hope that this helps somebody. Like, nobody is an island, and I'm just saying this as a person who has tried to literally do everything on my own. We're not islands. We don't learn just being by ourselves. Isolation, I think that it can be a good thing. I think that you can hear your own thoughts a little bit more potently when you're not around a whole bunch of voices. But I also feel like too much of anything is a bad thing, and so you still need people. I'm the type of person, because I'm an introvert, I suppose, that I prefer to be picky about friends. You know, if something gets out, then I know where it came from because I ain't tell nobody about that. But some people enjoy having lots of friends. I'm not here to say which is better or worse, but I'm just saying that we all need somebody. And this is coming from a person who loves solitude, who thrives, I would say, in some ways, or thinks that she thrives in isolation. We just need people. So if you're struggling with something, try to think of somebody that you can reach out and talk to. And if anything that reading has taught me, there are some people, like in terms of Eleanor Oliphant, for example, that you literally have nobody, and I know that probably exists. I pray that you find ways, or that people come into your life, but it's a necessity. Like, you can't get past it. We're social creatures. So take care of yourselves, everybody. Beyond that, I finished Convenience Store Woman today. I should have finished it days ago because it was only 150 something pages, around 150 pages, but if you read the essay in the back, it's 171. And it wasn't what I expected. I thought that it was going to be a book with a little bit more depth to the story, but it's one of those cases where it's like, when you rate it, did the author do what they set out to do, even if it's not what you expected? And the answer is yes. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars because by the end of it, I really did enjoy it. And I think that it's a timeless message because society has always operated with, like, even the little subsections of society have like their own rules. I think you would call them subcultures. They have their own like ins and outs too, to where you can be isolated or divided or separated from the group. So I enjoyed reading it because I've often felt different and like I don't fit in or belong anywhere, especially with the way that I think. And the book was so straightforward and deadpan about how we as humans pick up on what other people are doing as like signals as to what we should be doing. And the way that I do that is not as like clear cut as it happens in the book, but I realized that I'm that same kind of person that I don't always know what to do in social situations, so I kind of gauge to see what I should be doing, and the book just made it much more clear. So I think it was good. It's definitely thought-provoking, and we have a store around the corner from our house, a Dollar General, that needs a Kiko. Like, convenience store workers are important too, just being like literal about it all. So now that I've finished Convenience Store Woman, I'm going to be reading Deacon King Kong, and I dropped it on the floor, so now it's like a little, that's the only thing about paperback books, it's a little wrinkled, but it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. So we'll see how much I get into this today, and tomorrow I'm gonna chat with you guys some more, and I might bring it up. She might growl, but she won't bite you, I promise.
He's so cute. What's her name?
Nala.
Is she a he or is she a he or a he?
A she.
A she?
Have you seen The Lion King?
Yeah.
Yep, that's what she's named after.
He's so cute.
Hey guys, it is a few days after you guys last saw me at the lake that's in my neighborhood. I'm not sure how I'm going to edit this video, but yesterday I thought about filming, and I kind of did, but I just wanted to enjoy my time after work off camera, so I played some Stardew Valley, and I did get some clips of it, but I don't know if my final choice is going to be to edit that in this video or not. I kind of wanted to do something different today, or I had an idea for like crochet and yap, like a yap session with you guys. This, I've always called it a quilt because I learned this pattern when I was in summer camp, but my mom was like, that's not a quilt, that's a blanket, because quilts have the patches. I don't care, I'm gonna call it a quilt. So I'm working on this today, and I just kind of wanted to talk to you guys about some things that have been on my mind. I think I touched on it when I was at the lake. I was thinking a lot about authenticity and performing, and how I'm in this space in my life where I've just been reflecting on how I've been as a person, and it's been really hard to give myself grace for some things. But one big thing that keeps coming up to me is that for a very long time I've just been performing for people, and like I haven't even had a sense of what it is that I like, because every choice that I would make in the past, I was thinking about how other people would perceive it. The clothes that I wore, will this get a lot of likes when I post it on Instagram? That stuff has an effect on you in the long run, because I get to a point to where I'm just like, I don't even know what I actually like. So honestly, this period of isolation that I've been in has been pretty good for me because I feel like I'm starting to develop or to have a sense of things that I like without outside influence. But it's weird to be in a space where you're trying to work on like not being somebody that's always performing, and then I decide that I want to be on YouTube, which feels like a big performance because like yesterday I did not feel like filming. I got some clips, but I was just like, I want to enjoy my time after work without creating, like making content. And even when I'm talking to the camera, like I'm aware that I'm talking to you. And we talked about this actually in my grad school program, like how when a camera is introduced into a situation, that situation kind of loses authenticity a little bit. At least that was my interpretation of what we talked about. It's just weird, and it's hard also because I'm a perfectionist and I really want this channel to be successful. And when I say successful, yes, I do want it to grow, but I also want it to feel like a place that's fun for me to come to because I'm being myself. And I feel like it is me in the sense of it's things that I like. I love to read. I love cozy hobbies. When I figured out that there was a cozy aesthetic on YouTube, I was drawn to it because I'm in this period where I don't want to be chasing like the highs all the time, always feeling like I have to travel or be doing something that's very flashy in order to be enjoying my life. I want to just be able to be at home or walk outside or go downtown and do something where I live that's comfortable and nice and just serene, cozy type thing. That's how I think of it. So in that sense, the channel is me. But then I find myself doing things like cozy days in my life, which is I think what I'm going to name this vlog, or a cozy week in my life, or I'm thinking about doing like a TBR jar picks my summer reads or something like that. And those are things that are being like, they're popular on here because everybody's doing it. And I just feel like it makes me feel like I'm losing some sort of authenticity because I'm trying to do things to make my content get views, and I want it to get views, but I want it to get views because of me, not because I'm following these trends, if that makes sense. Besides that, I started Deacon King Kong yesterday. It was pretty late when I started it. I believe it was after or around 10 p.m. And it's too early for me to say anything. I'm only 2 chapters into it. But I will say that I do know why it's called Deacon King Kong now. It's not what I don't think I had any thoughts about that before, but I do know why now. So I'm excited to continue to get into it. It was Oprah's book club book of 2020, so it seems to have been a very popular book, and again, it's a book club pick, so I think it's going to be the happiest one that we've read, so that's saying something. Another thing that I do want to talk about sort of is consumption of books. I don't know how many books on my bookshelf I've read, but I want to say that it's more than half. And I love shopping just as much as any other girl. I love it. I do feel so much better after I go and buy things. But me personally, and I don't like to come on here and feel like I'm policing what other people do. Me personally though, I do find I'm in a stage of my life where I'm trying to be faithful with what I do have and just more cognizant of things, because for a very long time I just blew money and I never thought about, even now, numbers or money is not real to me until it's on paper. Like, you can tell me it costs this much, this thing, this, that, and I think I can do all of that. It'll work out. And I kind of like that mindset for myself because it reminds me of the Bible story where Jesus was with the disciples and they were preaching to the masses and they only had like a couple of loaves of bread and a couple of fish. And somehow that fish was able to feed all those people after Jesus blessed it. I think about things like that. So I kind of do like that I'm not in reality sometimes. But I also feel like sometimes you really do need to use wisdom. And so I'm trying to, my goal I guess now is to read my bookshelf. Like, I want to read the books on my bookshelf before I buy anything else. In one of the last hauls that I showed you guys, I've gotten some Kennedy Ryan books. I have like 3 of her books and Tia Williams. So I want to read those, some other romance books. And then there were books that I got from a warehouse here in South Carolina that I haven't read yet. So I do think that I'm going to do like a TBR picks some of my summer reads. And that'll be fun to finally read some things on this shelf before buying other things. Yeah, I was talking about that because I didn't know what else I wanted to talk about here, but I do know. So I wanted to talk about like what cozy content or what the cozy aesthetic means to me. So I don't know if I told you guys all of this, but I graduated last year in May. Actually, around this time, it'll be a year and 3 days that I graduated last year. I got my PhD, and honestly, if I'm being for real, like, I just enjoyed school. School was something that I have always been good at. You tell me what to do, I do it. The PhD was a little bit harder because it's not just like somebody telling you the information to take in and then you regurgitate it. You have to actually create new knowledge. So that was challenging because I had to learn to trust myself and say that, I know something about this thing and I'm going to tell you what it is. You're not going to tell me. That was different. And I do think that I appreciate the experience for that. But I didn't get the PhD to necessarily with dreams of becoming a professor or even working in some sort of whatever after that. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And that's been the case like every time I've graduated. I just got the degree because I love learning. I love school. I love the process of all of those things. I think I did believe that I would be a professor, but I'm not one right now. And I'm okay with that. It is absolutely a privilege to be able to go to higher education like that and get a degree, because even though I don't believe anybody should get a PhD if your program is not paid for. Like, you should not be taking out a student loan, in my opinion, to get a PhD. You need to have some sort of assistantship that's paying for your tuition and all of that stuff. But even so, you still have to pay if you're moving to a new city. Like, I lived in Washington, D.C., you're still going to have to pay to live. So while school is taken care of, it's still a privilege that you're able to do any of that in the sense that you have other expenses in order to be able to live. And so, I don't know, it's probably going to sound like, wow, you just did that, do it. But that's my journey. So I got a PhD, and honestly, it felt kind of like a side quest. Like, it's just something that I did. It has no bearing really on my life right now. I am working in like a sort of research capacity because of the degree that I have. But I'm not somebody that walks around like, oh, you better call me doctor and whatnot. So anyway, I graduated a year ago with that degree, and I moved away from that area to a place where I don't know many people. And my life did a complete 180. I went from just blowing money because I was hanging around people who love to go out and do things all the time. Like, when you're living in a city with friends who like to go out and party and go to brunch a lot, it's really hard, at least for me, to say no. So I was always spending money and always doing something. And I came here and it's a lot more quiet and I could finally hear myself think. And the cozy aesthetic appealed to me because it was like, I'm a person that tends to adapt to my circumstances. I'm not going to try to change the circumstance. I'm going to try to change my perspective about it. Only if it's a good circumstance, though. If it's a bad one, I'm going to try to change it. But if it's like, there's nothing wrong with this, and I'm like, I think I need this, at least right now, at this moment in my life. So I was like, the cozy aesthetic spoke to me because it made me feel like it has a lot to do with being grateful for what you have, moving slower, moving more intentionally, and all of that stuff resonated with me. And I was also feeling a lot of inner turmoil. I wasn't feeling a lot of peace because of all these different transitions, graduating, being unemployed for a certain number of months, moving away from like people that I had known for at least a couple of years, and moving to a new place where I didn't really know that many people. Going from just blowing money to having to be very careful about how I spend it. This is my first time ever living with a partner, my boyfriend and I, and luckily we're perfect for each other, I'm convinced. But I lost my train of thought thinking about him. But it was just a lot of transitioning going on, and I just wanted peace. And so I felt like the cozy aesthetic, the cozy vibe was going to be a great way to kind of get me doing things that quieted like this sense of like there's just so much changing. It's okay though, like I can just move slow. I don't have to be doing all these fast things. And in a way it did, like Cozy K, I think she's the first video I saw that introduced me to that sort of way of being, and I liked that, like just being at home. I don't have to be out spending a lot of money doing whatever. I can find joy and peace in being at home. And I think in a way that kind of resonates with the core part of me that I had lost, being in environments that I had been in or choosing to be in. And that's a whole other story. Like, I'm an introvert at heart. So, and I always think that I felt that something was wrong with me because people would come to me and say, oh, I thought you were stuck up until I got to know you, or why are you so quiet? Like, it's a bad thing. So I would force myself to be in social situations, like going to parties, joining a sorority, or doing like other things to make myself be social. And in ways they did benefit me. I'm happy for that version of myself who did those things, but I don't have to do it anymore, so I'm not going to. Yeah, I think this whole thing this cozy lifestyle has helped me get back to a part of myself that I think that I had lost and I forgot was deep down in there. Essentially, I thought that, I do like to travel, but I also really love being at home. There's nothing like being at home. Home should be your safe haven. You should feel comfortable and love being there because it's away from all the crazy stuff that's going on in the world. And so I just love that part of the aesthetic. But eventually I came to find that not even like taking time to crochet, which this is very helpful. Sidebar, I'm doing a lot of sidebars. Michelle Obama in The Light We Carry, she mentioned, I think, crocheting when she was like, whenever you're going through things that are intense and you really don't know what to do, like doing something with your hand is a great way to relax and calm down. And she was right, because I do my best thinking sometimes when I'm doing this. But even doing all these things, even like finding the joy in staying at home, crocheting, reading, journaling, playing like cozy games, like that stuff wasn't even bringing me like the peace that I was looking for. And I just want to say, I realize that everybody watching this video may not be, you might not even believe in God or a higher power or whatever, but I do. And that's fine if you don't. I'm not here to try to convert you, but I do want to share my story because I feel like maybe somebody out there needs to hear it and it might help someone. But I was raised in church, and I'm not even gonna say I was raised in church. I was raised by parents who are believers, and they're not religious people. I know that sounds weird, like, it's a religion, how are they not religious? They don't believe that you have to do all of these things to go to heaven. They literally just believe, in Jesus. But I did go to church. So I had this foundation of spirituality and faith in my life. And to me, just crocheting and reading and all that stuff is not enough for me to feel the peace that I was looking for. And so in order to make it meaningful, in order to make it make sense, I started thinking about a scripture. I believe it's in Proverbs. It's actually I put it in the description of my channel. The whatever is good, whatever is pure, whatever is holy, like think about such things, because I have a problem with just negative thoughts, like ruminating on negative things. I spiral, and it's hard for me to take myself out of that. So when I reframed like cozy content, cozy aesthetics to being in alignment with that scripture, then it started making me feel better. That's what the cozy aesthetic means to me. It's not just me doing this stuff to slow down or enjoy my life. I'm operating in alignment with my faith system, and God says that, if I want peace, one of the things that I should work on doing is to focus and concentrate on things that are good. I need to read that scripture. Let me go on here and look at it because it's on my YouTube. It says, finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. And I just think that is such a good guiding scripture when it comes to winning the war in your mind, when there's so much going on in the world around us that is attacking peace and attacking stability. And I love the cozy aesthetic because it's trying to get there. But for me, I just have to add that extra step and say, okay, I'm doing this. Like, the meaning for this is because it's in alignment with God's word in this way. So that's just me. That's all I wanted to say. So I've barely done any crocheting. I've just been yapping, but I guess that's good. When I finish this thing, I will show it to you guys, but I'm excited. I've never actually finished one before. I've started many of these over the years, and I've just not finished one. So I ordered a bunch of these from Amazon. I have 3 more rolls of it over there, but I ordered a bunch of these from Amazon so that I can get as far on this as possible to have like a little homemade blanket for myself. It's kind of exciting to see myself actually making something besides this flower. Most things that I start crocheting, I just never finish. But yeah, that's it. New angle unlocked. I have a very low tolerance for alcohol, and I made myself a mimosa today. 1 mimosa because I had breakfast for lunch. Brunch, if you will. And I fear I'm lit. It was 1 mimosa, and I put like this much like champagne in here, and then the rest of it was cran apple juice. I read 1 more chapter of Deacon King Kong, and I don't trust myself to continue trying to comprehend what I read, so I'm just going to watch YouTube. But I just wanted to say that. That's all, folks.
To read. I literally just got my book of the month package, and look what came. I don't know where to start, truly. And yet I
Hey y'all, I just got off work. It's Friday, May 9th. I'm gonna close out the video here, but first I want to talk a little bit more about Deacon King Kong. I started reading this, and I came to the conclusion that I'm no longer going to like talk about my feelings about books until I get to the 100-page mark, because I was around like page 30 something, and I was like, there's really no way, in my opinion, to have opinions about a book before then, because you can have opinions, but I feel like you have to give the book a chance to form, you know? And so I was on around page 30 something in the book, and I was just thinking to myself, he's introducing so many characters, I cannot keep this straight. Is this how the entire book is going to be? And so I felt myself inkling towards, I'm not sure that I'm going to like this, but then I stopped myself, mainly, honestly, because of the accolades the book has. Oprah's Book Club, Book of the Year, one of the 10 best books of the year in 2020, and a whole bunch of just positive commentary on it. So I was like, maybe I'm missing something. So why don't I just stop and read to page 100 and see how I feel? So I'm currently on page 101. And I really like this book. I feel like the way that James McBride writes, I'm not sure, at least the way he's written this book, because I haven't read any of his other works. He writes the way that I think about things. Like, I was telling my boyfriend earlier, because he had like his nightcap, like his, not a do-rag, but something that he puts over his dreads. The way that James writes is like, he'll talk about you, and then he'll say something about like what you have on your head, the scarf you have on your head, and go into a story about how that scarf came to be and the person who made it, and that family's like something specific that happened to that family, and then bring it all around full circle back to you. That's like how my mind goes. It's like down these rabbit holes, and I find my way back eventually. And so the book is just, it does that so much. And I don't know, I've never read something like that before. I don't know what you would call that. It's giving, I suspect that I have ADHD sometimes, so I'd say it's giving like literary ADHD. I don't know. I really don't know. But I like that. And I couldn't see how all of these different things that he talks about would even be connected to each other. But I'm at page 101, like I said, and I'm just now starting to see connections between certain things. And so I feel like I haven't even told you guys what this book is about. It's about a man. He's 71. His name is, I actually don't know what his actual name is. They do say it in the book, but everybody they call him Sport Coat. 71, he's a deacon at one of the local churches in New York. He lives in this place called the Cause Housing Projects. And he's a happy man. Like, he's a drunk, but he's very happy, just minds his own business. The book starts off with, like, he has gone up to the project's, like, local drug dealer and shot him. Nobody knows why he did it. He doesn't even know why he did it. And it starts this whole thing, like, why did he do it? Just a simple act starts branching off into all these other things that are happening in the community. And it's all not centered around this act, but things that are connected to his act. And it's so hard to explain. Each chapter is almost from a different person's perspective and vantage point. It's so hard to explain, but I am enjoying it. And let me just read the back of it to you. It says, and I don't know if I read this on another video, but if I did, I'll just do it again. It says, the funny, surprising story of the shooting of a Brooklyn drug dealer and the people who witnessed it, from James McBride. In September 1969, an old church deacon known as Sport Coat shuffles into the courtyard of the Causeway housing projects in South Brooklyn, pulls a .38 from his pocket, and in front of everybody shoots the project's drug dealer at point-blank range. The reasons for this burst of violence and the consequences that spring from it are at the heart of Deacon King Kong. McBride brings to vivid life the people affected by the shooting, the victim, the African-American and I have read this before because I didn't know how to say that, Latinx residents who witnessed it, the local cops assigned to investigate, the members of the 5 Ns, Baptist church where Sport Coat was deacon, the neighborhood's Italian mobsters, and Sport Coat himself. Drawing from both his masterly storytelling skills and his abiding faith in humanity, James McBride has written a novel that's as involving as The Good Lord Bird and as emotionally honest as The Color of Water, and that demonstrates that love and faith live in all of us. When it says McBride brings to vivid life the people affected by the shooting, the victim, the community who witnessed it, the local cops, the members of the church where the shooter was deacon, the neighborhood's Italian mobsters, and the shooter himself. So true, because every chapter is just like you're getting deep into the trenches of these people's lives. I've just never read anything like it. I feel like it's going to be a 5-star read. And if that is the case, then that's going to be just amazing, because we've had 4 books for this term in my book club, and that'll be 3 out of 4 of them have been 5 stars for me. So I'm excited to keep reading it. I hope I didn't botch the description too badly for you. At least I hope that I made you a little bit curious about the book. It came out in 2020, so you might have heard of it already. And if you haven't, I definitely am prematurely suggesting that you go pick it up. But like I said, I'm going to end the video here. Thank you guys so much for watching, for interacting and commenting and liking what I have posted so far. Leave me a comment below. Whatever you want to talk about, I will respond. I love having conversations in the comments. I love seeing what you guys are reading all the time. So just, leave me a comment. Just let me know how you're doing, what's going on. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.